What's the best way to do a to-do list? Is it as simple as just writing down all the tasks you're going to do and checking them off, or is there a little bit more to it? On today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 different ways I've done to-do lists in the past, and we're going to be talking about which style might work best for you. Now, this video says to-do list ideas for entrepreneurs because I'm going to be giving examples as if you were an entrepreneur, because if you're an online entrepreneur and you're working for yourself, these are imperative to do to keep you focused throughout the day. So before we get into the 5 types of lists, let me just talk about why it's so important that you do to-do lists if you have a schedule that is ever not exactly in place. This is really for those of you who don't like to have a schedule that is meticulously planned out. If you are someone who likes to sit down on Sunday night and plan out every half hour what you're doing throughout the entire week, and you take all these tasks that you know that you need to get done and you put them in your schedule, the exact time that they take, and you're really good at knowing exactly how much time you'll need, and you can play out your whole schedule and you just show up and work that schedule no matter how you feel, then this is the best way to perform throughout the week and get everything done, because you completely planned what you needed to get done down to the minute, and you executed on it. And if it actually works for you, that is probably a better way than doing a to-do list. It's just a lot easier said than done. And for those of us that would not like to have everything in our schedule planned out, and it's just not something that we find repeatable week after week, then maybe you have things in your schedule that are on auto repeat, meetings that you're going to attend every single week. You've got your sales calls in there and appointment slots for some things. Maybe you're recording some content on some days, posting content at other times that you want to keep set. Whatever is in your schedule that's set. For everything else around it, how a lot of entrepreneurs attack it is with a to-do list. And the reason why it's so important, rather than just going throughout the day and thinking, all right, what should I do next, is you want to get all of the things down on paper right at the beginning of the day. I would use this as your morning routine. And if the only morning routine you ever do is starting your day with a to-do list, this is really as much of a morning routine as someone could need. It can be helpful to wake up and go to the gym and make a certain breakfast and read a little bit in a book and meditate and stretch. To do it every day forever is very difficult. And a lot of high-level business owners don't even do all these things. They just get right into work. But if you only do one thing in your morning routine that is actually very easy to turn into a habit, it's making a to-do list. And then from there, even if you put in meditate, read, whatever you want to do that day, then you're good. You set yourself up for success. But getting it out of your head saves you a lot of time throughout the day, and it saves you a lot of mental worry about what you have to do next by just getting it down on paper. The other reason why it's so important to put it down is because now that you've made a to-do list, you have also made a what you're not going to do list, consequently, because it just didn't make the list. So as soon as your daily to-do list is done, you say, all right, that is the max that I could even do today. Now you know I can't even do anything else. I can't even fit anything else on there. So these little tasks that I keep thinking of that I know I need to do, but they don't need to be done today, or should they? I don't know. You can just confidently know that they're not going to get done that day because they did not make the list. So if you're someone who does not like to meticulously plan out every bit of your schedule, doing a to-do list in some capacity is going to be for you. So let's get into the 5 types of ways to do this. The first one is just a basic to-do list where you write down everything you're going to do that day, and then you knock it out in no particular order. This works well for those of you who may be a little bit ADHD, and if you have on your schedule that you're going to record a podcast that day, and you're also going to send an email, and then you get to work at 9 a.m. and you realize, I just don't want to shower and get ready for video right now, but I have all the motivation in the world to write this email. That you do the email. You don't worry about, oh, this task is more important or this task should be done earlier. You're just taking the day as you're ready for it. So the cons is that you are maybe going to get to the end of the day and not have accomplished the most important things on the schedule. But I do think as long as you know these are the things that have to get done today and you can prioritize them a little bit higher just in your mind, they usually usually do get done. And then the pros is that you just get to take your day however you want. And this works a lot better for me rather than saying, okay, I need to do this first and then this next. I would rather wake up and see what my energy is like that day and where my passion lies. Because if I'm really excited to write an email and I've got an idea for it, or I've got an idea for a reel, I was just scrolling Instagram that morning and I know I have to post a reel that day and I see a trending audio that I really want to use and I've got great lighting and I can do it. I'm not going to worry about, oh, well, I'm supposed to do this in a few hours. I'm just going to do it right then because it just works for me. So that's the first kind of to-do list. The second one is you make a daily to-do list, but then you turn it into a daily schedule right then. So this is great for those of you who don't know exactly what you're going to want to do in 3 days to the point where you can plan out every minute of your schedule, but you can wake up that morning, get a to-do list of everything that needs to happen that day, and then if there are things in there that are time sensitive, maybe you are sending an email that day, but you know that you have better email delivery time if you do it in the morning than in the afternoon, which most people do. So then you know, all right, well, this email has to be done first. This can be good for those of you that have things in your schedule that can benefit by getting done at certain times of day or do need to be done earlier for whatever reason. So doing a daily to-do list and then putting that into a schedule and then executing on that schedule could work very well. The third way is by making a weekly to-do list. You could also do a monthly or really any length of time, but it's more than a day is really what it is. And for me, I'm going on a trip in a couple days, and whenever I'm going on a trip, I love to make a to-do list leading up to that trip. It makes you feel a lot better too when you get on that plane and know that you're not leaving anything back at home or any tasks incomplete before you go on vacation or visit family. So I've got my list right now of here's all the things that need to be done before my trip. And then it just makes it so over the next few days, I can accomplish them as I need to. And as long as everything is marked off, then I can leave on that plane in peace. So a lot of the to-do list is also to give you mental peace, which goes a long way. If you don't have focus, then you can't really do anything in business. So this is a great way to just give yourself focus by even accomplishing the entire list and giving yourself that alleviation that you are done for the day and you are able to take a break. If you find that it's difficult for you to get to the end of the day and not still be thinking about work, doing a to-do list and then knocking off everything on that list can be the thing that really helps you feel comfortable then taking the rest of the day off. Let's go into the fourth style of list, which is making your daily to-do list the night before. So this is for those of you who are night owls like myself. As soon as the sun goes down, my mind is at such peace compared to how it is during the day. I have found that very few people can relate to this, but yeah, I feel like the world's thoughts won't shut the fuck up when I am awake during the day. As soon as it's night, it's like finally I can have some peace. And there's been a lot of inventors and innovators that have been like this over time, where it just is easier to collect your thoughts at night. And that's for me. And a lot of times at night, I get this burst of motivation and I want to act on it, but I don't really have enough energy to get ready and turn on the camera and do another video or edit something. I just feel like I want to get something done, but I'm not sure what that is. And I really want to make sure that it is something truly productive. What you can do is make the next day's to-do list so that when you wake up, you've already done your morning routine and you can just go right to the list and you can trust yourself from the day before, and you don't have to have any grogginess in the morning. Even if you haven't got your coffee yet, you already know what you need to do, so you've got some direction, so you don't feel like, all right, let's get the coffee, then I'll do the to-do list, because sometimes you don't even feel like doing the to-do list right in the morning, which doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it just because you don't feel like it. But if you've already done it the night before, you may find that this is a way that you just have a lot more mental clarity on writing this list too. And there's something about when you're writing it for yourself the next day, you're going to be more likely to put some tasks on there that you don't really want to do that you know you need to do. When you're writing it in the morning of the day that you're going to be doing those tasks, you're more likely to delay something that you don't want to do. Like, all right, tomorrow I'll email that person back. Whereas the night before, you're saying, all right, yeah, tomorrow I'll email that person back. I'll take care of it tomorrow. You might find that there's some things that make that list that typically wouldn't had you made it that morning. So try out that style as well. And then for the last style, this is going to be for those of you who have a schedule that is mostly planned out, but there's a lot of gaps in your schedule that you want to be productive. And you want to make sure that you're not just doing random tasks during that time. So you make a to-do list that is just for little blocks in your schedule. For me, I just have Tuesdays devoted to it. So I have to-do list Tuesday in my schedule. There are a couple sales appointment slots blocked off. And then there's a time where I record a podcast episode for a couple hours that's blocked off. Other than that, the rest of the day is just to-do list Tuesday. And I just have to knock off as many things as I possibly can. And for some of you, it might not be a day, it just might be some random hour or two gaps where there's not something that you always need to do, but you know it's still working hours. You've got plenty of motivation and energy to keep getting things done in your day at that point, but there's tasks that, like, sometimes there's a meeting there, sometimes there's not, like, whatever, for whatever reason, there's just this blank spot in your calendar that just says, fill me with something productive at this time. So for you guys, I would do a to-do list style where you do have a schedule planned out as much as possible, but then anytime you have this gray space in your calendar that you know you still want to work, you just call it to-do list area and you just hit the list. So you can keep it on your phone or you can do it in notes. If you're doing this style though, it's probably better on your phone so it's always on you. And you just start checking off the boxes on your list and getting as much done as you can at that time so that you don't have this mental fatigue of trying to remember, what do I have to do? Oh yeah, I have to do that. And then you start doing it and then you remember another thing that you have to do, which you remember as more important. And then you task switch, when you have the to-do list and you can even keep this one ordered by importance of things that you have to get done. As soon as you hit that gray space in your schedule that says, all right, just hit the list, you can just go from top to bottom and knock it off as much as you can. And that's probably going to be the best plan because it's the most structured. But of course, for some of us, we don't like the structure as much, or it's not as repeatable for us to do on a weekly basis. So doing one of these other styles might be better for you. That is all we're covering today. Try out all 5 styles if you're not sure which one you want to do. And then by the end of it, you'll know exactly which one you want to do. And the more you figure out exactly how you work and stay focused and get the most done is going to really help you on your entrepreneur journey. So figure this out sooner rather than later, because this could be something that you repeat for the rest of your life. And if you can increase your productivity by even a few %, it can make a massive change in your results. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Social Media Entrepreneurs Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed and look for new episodes every Monday and Thursday. See you soon.